Zacks Rank Buys, stocks with a short-term buy or strong buy recommendation. Now, here are more Zacks Rank Buys. Value is the name of the game when we talk with Tracy Reinick. Tracy is our value stock analyst at Zacks.com, and you've brought another couple of value stocks to profile for us here, starting with the GEO Group, GEO, the ticker symbol. That is how that's pronounced, right?
It is.
It's not anything weird, even though it looks like Geo to me, but sometimes you never know.
It is. It is Geo.
And they've actually been another company that has confirmed 2008 guidance.
Yes. So that's a positive thing given what we've seen out there. They are a prison facilities company. They run correctional and residential treatment facilities in the U.S., Australia, South Africa, and the U.K.
Kind of a recession-proof industry.
Yeah, basically. So, you know, their guidance was $1.25 to $1.27, and all the analyst estimates are $1.26, of course. But this is, you know, it's good going into the fourth quarter that they're confirming. The stock is trading, you know, not super cheap right now. Its PE is about 14. But they surprised last quarter by about 9% on estimates, so that was also another positive thing. They also are growing pretty quickly right now. The analysts expect earnings to grow 20% next year, and their PEG is really low. It's under 1, so that's also a very good value indicator. So they have the growth plus some value. They've said that in 2009, 2010, they're adding about 7,000 beds to their bed collection.
Oh, wonderful. You know, you normally don't associate prisons with private companies or even public companies that run them.
Right.
Because normally you associate prisons with state, county, municipal government.
Right, you do. So, you know, it is a good area to be in right now, and I think that's about, it's going to be about 14% revenue growth for the beds when they add those in 2009, 2010. So they have something, you know, good coming down the pike. Their chart is a little bit crazy, but it's, you know, kind of what was expected. We saw a big sell-off in September going into October, and then it did hit a 52-week low of $12.65. It's bounced off of that since then because they've had the good earnings guidance and things like that.
You wonder if that's how they measure their performance to their shareholders. Well, we had to raise our bed count by X number in the past years. I guess we're doing good.
Right. Well, it is something. I mean, that is how they measure it. You know, that's where the growth comes from. So, you know, I mean, a lot of the municipalities and state governments, that's who their customers are, and they are looking for growth in that area.
Is there a lot of competition in that industry?
There's some, yes.
Really?
There's several companies that all engage in that same kind of business. So,
wow, I've learned something here. And then you also wrote recently about Encore Wire Corporation. Wire, W-I-R-E, is the ticker symbol. Not too hard to guess the industry that they're in, raw metal. Raw wire, copper? Yeah,
they manufacture the copper wire for apartment houses, residential, industrial use, which is, you know, kind of a dubious play as it has been the last couple of years. But Encore has managed to kind of overcome what's been happening in their industry, surprisingly, and is posting some pretty good numbers right now.
Yeah, do they get hit with a double whammy with, you know, construction turning down and commodity prices turning up?
Yes. So, you know, the copper became more expensive, and then a lot of their customer base is being decimated by what's happened. Mm-hmm. But now they're also in kind of an interesting position because copper has come way down. It was about, they said about $3.92 in July, and now it's trading about $1.25. So their customers are also kind of waiting for that price to come down. Mm-hmm. And so their customer orders have been kind of erratic going into this fourth quarter. But, you know, it's not a dire situation for them because they're controlling it. They actually have a decent amount of cash right now, over $100 million, and they don't have any long-term debt. Well, they do, but it's not due up until 2011, so they're pretty good on the liquidity side. So, you know, I mean, they have some other good things going on with them. The estimates are holding, which is a good thing right now, you know, not declining going into this fourth quarter and for the year.
They actually beat the street recently in the third quarter.
They did by a lot, by 25%, which also tells you, you know, that their sales are, you know, holding. They're not seeing big growth in the sales for the last quarter, and they didn't really for the first 9 months of the year. It was mainly flat. But given their industry, that's a pretty positive thing going for, you know, for here to build on going forward.
So maybe the commercial, do they service both commercial and residential?
They do.
So maybe the commercial end of their business is what held them up, because I'm noticing that commercial projects that had been on the drawing boards are getting completed.
Right. That is, and obviously residential has been declining all this time, but whether or not we're at the bottom remains to be seen. But we've got to be getting close to it. So if they're managing to hold on through this period, and it should be upward from here, especially with the price of copper coming down, and some of their customers will be placing orders at this level for sure.
Sure. So the chart looks pretty good on them.
Yeah, the chart isn't bad. They've had kind of up and down volatility. They did hit a 52-week low in November when we had the November lows in the markets, overall markets, and it's bounced a little bit off of that. And so we'll see with them going into the fourth quarter. They didn't offer any guidance, so it's kind of whatever's out there. But the analyst estimates are pretty bullish, and they're holding right now, like I said, so that's a positive thing.
Okay. Do you or does anyone in your house own either of those two stocks?
I do not.
All right. Tracy has written about other value stocks as well. She writes about value stocks all the time, and you can go to Zacks.com's homepage and look over to the right-hand side, upper right-hand corner of the homepage. That's where all of the Zacks ranked buys are listed, and you can click on the most recent headline next to the value category. Takes you to her most recent story, and then at the bottom of that page, an archive of some of the stocks that she's written about over the past 4 or 5 days. With Tracy Reinick, I'm Terry Ruffalo.